Okay, good evening and welcome to the Tewksbury Conservation Commission meeting of February 10th, 2021. This meeting is being held virtually due to the recent open meeting law policy set forth by the governor for the state of emergency. I'm going to repeat this phone number numerous times throughout the evening, so if you want to participate or make any comments, you can dial 978-771-0819. All right, first item on the agenda is approval of minutes. Okay, we have approval of minutes for December 16th, 2020. Any questions, board members?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Hearing no other questions, can I have a motion to approve the minutes for December 16th, 2020?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right, second is approval of minutes for January 6, 2021. Any questions, gentlemen?
No questions.
Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the minutes of January 6, 2021?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right, approval of minutes for January 20th, 2021. Any questions on those minutes?
I have no questions.
Hearing no questions, can I have a motion to approve the minutes of January 2021?
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Okay, next on the agenda is item A, B, C, E, and F. I'm going to take those in order because all these applicants are requesting a continuance. So if anybody is on the line or watching, they don't have to stay on the line if one of these is, if it's continued. Okay, so I'm going to go with item A first. This is continued public hearing from January 20th, 2021. It was request for certificate of compliance, Tewksbury Village Condominium LLC, Poland Ave and Foster Lane, map 24, lot 25, DEP 305943. The applicant is requesting a continuance to the March 24th, 2021 meeting. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Item B, continued from January 20th, 2021. Bond release request, Tewksbury Village Condominium LLC, Poland Ave and Foster Lane, map 24, lot 25, DEP 305943. This applicant also is requesting a continuance to our March 24th, 2021 meeting. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote? Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Okay, item C is continued from January 20th, 2021. Request for certificate of compliance, Tewksbury Village Condominium LLC, 15 Robbie Terrace Way, map 24, lot 78, DEP 3051074. This applicant is also requesting a continuance to our March 24th, 2021 meeting. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote? Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. pardon me, but I'm going to skip over item D and go right to item E. This is another continued from January 20th, 2021. Public hearing notice of intent Francesca Land LLC, care of Joseph Cataldo, 913 E Street, map 102, lot 52, DEP 3051122. The applicant is requesting a continuance to February 24th, 2021. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Item F, continued from January 20th, 21. Public hearing notice of intent, Michael Saccone, MDR Construction, 935 Main Street, map 49, lot 69, DEP number 3051126. This applicant is requesting a continuance to February 24th, 2021. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Finally done with continuances. Okay, now we're going to scoot back to item D. It's a continued from January 20th, 2021. Request for certificate of compliance, New Horizon Realty Group, LLC, 1201 Main Street, map 60, lot 39, DEP number 305997. Is there anyone here for that?
I actually got a late email today that they would like to continue to the next meeting.
Okay. With that being said, can I have a motion to continue the request for certificate of compliance, New Horizon Realty Group, LLC, 1201 Main Street, map 69, lot 39, DEP 305997. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
And chair votes aye as well. Okay. Now we're on to item G, public hearing, notice of intent, Gary U. Hodges, Revocable Trust, 313 Marston Street, map 20, lot 29, DEP number 3051127. This is a public hearing, so the number again is 978-771-0819. Is there anyone here for this?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Dick Yuko here for representing Gary Hodges.
Okay, good. Take your time explaining. I'm getting tired here already.
Well, I'm going to see if I can share my screen, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. So we'll see what I got here. Let's see. Share screen. Yeah, there we go. I think you can see it.
Yeah, we got
You
it.
can.
Okay. Yeah, this property is situated on 313 Master Street. It's actually a portion of a larger parcel that's going to be cut out. This land that's in the back, just to give you an update on that, the owner of the land has petitioned the Board of Selectmen to see if they were interested in a gift of that land to be annexed to the Rogers Park, town-owned land at Rogers Park. So that might be coming your way sometime in the future once we hear back from the selectmen. But we have before you this evening is a 1 acre lot. It has a series of wetlands. The numbers look kind of high because they go off the lot, but the area that's affected in this lot is flagged as C87, and it works its way around to C99. There's another small non-connected wetlands up in this area, the D series, and on the third sheet there is a isolated pocket that was dug out many years ago, and in an effort to do some test pits in the area. They originally were going to, they sold this parcel of land off, and when they did that, they were originally going to have it over here, and they dug some test pits, and then the gentleman that bought this house didn't mind having the power line next to him, so they abandoned that, and that hole is it was dug out. It's man-made. You can actually see the casting off of the earth from the hole itself. And I will just go. Yeah. So basically, this is just a small section of land. It's it would be just in the front corner of the lot over here. So this is what we're proposing to refill that in and put in the new home. So the new home would be in this location. It would be tied into sewer, so there's no need for the test pit for the septic system. We've kept it away from the 25 and the 50-foot buffer zones. The second sheet we're proposing, where our erosion control barriers would be, and then on the third sheet, we are proposing to put in the markers. Had some issues with people in the past not knowing where to put them or how to put them, so we actually included this on our third sheet, and the locations of those have been actually marked on the plan, so that there's no confusion in the future as to where those no disturb markers should go. So at that, I'd like to answer any questions if I can.
Okay, Stefania, any issues?
Yes, so I do just want to note, so according to the application, the isolated wetland that he describes, that would be where the proposed dwelling is. How they describe it, it does not meet the criteria to be a jurisdictional wetland under the Wetlands Protection Act or the bylaw. I will just note that due to the amount of snow at this time, and that's not something we can verify. We tried to do a site inspection, and there's just too much snow out there. And then the other question I just had is, do you need to go to the ZBA for the side setbacks?
Oh.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I think it's 16 feet. So.
Okay.
Actually, the one thing that I would note that the applicant is probably going to build a house that's slightly smaller than that one. But at this point, I said we'll show this dwelling. I think it's about 6 feet shorter across the back from what they're telling me they might want to build.
Okay. This is a public hearing. I'm going to repeat the number again. It's 978-771-0819. If anybody has any comments, Brian, can you let me know if anybody calls in? And I'm going to go to board members now. Any issues? Mr. Ronan?
No issues for me.
Mr. McMullen?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Sheehan?
Yeah, what size lot is that? A full acre, Mr.
It's a
Cooper?
full acre, yes, Mr. Sheehan.
Okay, I'm fine.
Mr. Walsh?
No questions.
Okay, and I don't have. Now, you said he was going to give some square footage to the town for the park or something?
Yeah, what there's about 8 acres back here, Mr. Chairman. That's
Okay, so it has nothing to do with this acre
It
lot.
has nothing to do with this. I just wanted to bring it to the commission's attention because they may be asked for some input in the future from the selectmen, and I just wanted you to be aware.
Yeah. Okay. I think we have to be careful of what we take these days. Okay. I have no questions either. It's well within. He's not in the 50-foot no build zone. again, I have no issues with it. So, where are we? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the notice of intent. Gary U. Hodges, Revocable Trust, 313 Marston Street, map 20, lot 29, DEP number 3051127 with the standard order of conditions. And Stefan, you need to add anything else in the standard order of conditions? Do we have the zone markers in that? Hello?
We don't, I believe they have it in their application though. I think they show it on
Okay.
one of the plans.
All right, so we'll have that as the standard order of conditions and to include the markers, just to be on the safe side. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
And chair votes aye as well. Thank you, Dick.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, now where am I? That was G. Okay, now we're on to H. Request for non-substantial change, order of condition, woodland design, 325 Marshall Street, lot 1A, Paramore Drive, map 32, lot 3, DEP number 3051107. Is there anyone here for that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dick Cuco here again from Woodland Design. The project as approved, Mr. Chairman, had the location of a garage that's situated on lot 1A. And what I did was I took the plan that you see in front of you is the proposed garage location. But in order to simplify this, I superimposed the one that was approved on the notice of intent plans in red. So basically, when they went in to get a sign off for the building permit, it was different than the approved plan. So Stefania asked us if we could come in and show it to the commission and ask for a non-substantial determination on this. We're actually a little further away from the wetlands on this side, and it's well outside the 50-foot buffer zone for this little small pocket of wetlands in here. So that's pretty much it, sir.
Okay, so let me see. This is not a public hearing, is it?
I believe so.
I don't think it is. All right, Stefania, any issues?
No, I think that though it's a little bit larger and it's in a different location, if this was originally brought with the original application, I don't think the commission would have had an issue. But definitely, if they do, now's the time to say.
Board members, any issues? Mr. Ronan?
My only question is, it says it's a garage. Is there a driveway? I don't see any markings for a driveway or anything.
I'm not sure. I would believe they're probably going to relocate this driveway here, which was the existing driveway, to come in where he used to have some of his equipment in this location.
All right. As long as
You can
the
be able to
driveway
see
is
it.
not going through the wetlands.
Oh, no,
I'm
no, no.
fine with it.
No.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
I believe the current driveway is next to the existing dwelling. So I'm sure they'll just extend that.
The driveway, there's a driveway over here, and then you can faintly see where the old driveway was. So I think they're just going to come in this
All
way.
right.
Yeah. I think you can see it. It's kind of faint.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. McMullen?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Sheehan?
I have no questions.
Mr. Walsh?
No questions.
And I have no questions. I think it's fine. I'm going to entertain a motion to approve the request for non-substantial change order of condition for Woodland Design, 325 Marshall Street, Lot 1A, Terramore Drive, Map 32, Lot 3, DEP number 3051107. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
You asked me
Mr.
twice.
McMullen or Mr. Walsh?
Mr. Walsh, did I already ask you?
You asked me second.
Oh, who didn't I ask? Mr. Ronan?
You did not ask me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
He feels left out.
Yeah. It's because I'm getting confused. I'm doing too much talking with all these continuances. I'm starting to lose my voice here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is public hearing, notice of intent, Andrew Cole, New England Power Company, NEP, S145/T146 Transmission Line Row, map /lot 3437, 10241, 10258, 112-1, 112-4, DEP number 3051128. This is a public hearing. The phone number to participate is 978-771-0819 if you're interested. Okay, is there anyone here for this?
Hi, I'm Marley Sylvan from BSC Group here on behalf of New England Power Company for the S145 P146 line switch installation project. Can you all see my screen?
I can.
Okay, good, thank you. So New England Power Company is proposing activities including the installation of new H-frame switch structures and associated gravel pads, gravel access roads, and a gravel footpath. Here we have a summary of each of the activities within the different types of resource areas. I will bring up the mapping depicting this information. All work will occur within New England Power Company's existing properties and easements, and construction is anticipated to start in May 2021. So here I showed an example of what the proposed switch structure within the wetland resource area is proposed to look like. Here you see an approximate 4-foot diameter concrete foundation. This is before they actually installed the structure pole itself. And then within the wetland resource area, there's a proposed 6x6 gravel pad. Essentially, this gravel pad is intended to serve a few purposes. So restrict vegetation within the area of an electrical grounding grid, as well as restrict vegetation growing up to what will be a hand-operated switch handle, which will only be on one side of the structure. So here you can see the gravel pads on one side, the switch handle that will need to be hand-operated will be on that side as well. And here's just an example of within the upland resource areas, gravel pads will be occupying an approximately 10 by 30 foot gravel footprint. For these structures, this is the typical gravel footprint for the gravel pad. It was reduced to that smaller footprint for the sensitive resource areas. And with this larger gravel pad, it'll also restrict vegetation within the upper components of the structure. These structures are 18 feet tall and are then connected to the existing structures overhead. So since they're only 18 feet tall, they want to limit vegetation that might conflict with the overhead components. So here we have a summary of the proposed impact areas. While you look over it, I can point out some of the key points. So within bordering vegetated wetlands, we have 2 concrete caisson foundations, each 4 foot in diameter. their associated 6x6 gravel pad and a 4-foot wide gravel footprint. Within the 100-foot buffer zone to BBW, the locally regulated 50-foot no build zone, and the 25-foot no disturbance zone, there will be proposed gravel pads, new access roads, and 4-foot wide footpaths. So here we can see the first location. This is north of Crossing Street. You can see here we have a proposed permanent access road. You can see the new switch structure, which is associated with an existing structure right here. And then we have one switch structure located within the wetland resource area with the smaller 6x6 gravel pad and a 4-foot wide footpath within the last little portion leading up to where the switch will be hand operated. Across the street, all of the work is only within the 100-foot buffer zone, and it's also within that last 50 to 100-foot portion of that buffer zone. Again, we have a permanent access road, permanent gravel pad, and 2 new switch structures. The larger work pad area will be a temporary graded surface for the purposes of construction. There will need to be a permanent gas pipeline crossing constructed. NEP is currently in coordination with Kinder Morgan. So this permanent crossing might be constructed at a later date. They might mat in during construction and then come back later to pave the whole thing, or they might just mat over the gas pipeline crossing and pave that one section later on once they work out with Kinder Morgan. And as part of this project, we also have a proposed wetland replication area to compensate for the impacts to BVW at a 1-to-1 ratio. This isn't located on site, and the reason for that is the existing wetlands at the impact site. I can kind of flip back to the maps. It's already heavily degraded from the surrounding industrial activity, as well as utility activities in the area. So it's not the prime location for a wetland replication area. Additionally, I guess NEP has looked into this area before for wetland replication, and there's very shallow bedrock. And when we're proposing to over excavate and then bring in some multiple layers of soil for a wetland replication area, that's just a lot more challenging to excavate 1 to 2 feet down below your proposed grade within a very shallow bedrock area. Does anybody have any questions?
I just have one question as of right now, and that is, you're putting down the gravel for vegetation. How is the vegetation managed when it comes through the gravel? Is it chemical? Is it pulled? I don't know. You tell me.
So New England Power Company has it's roughly a 5-year vegetation management plan. Sometimes they end up coming in every 6 years or so, but the goal is to come through every 5 years. So they have standard BMPs for addressing that vegetation management that's addressed throughout the entire region. In Massachusetts, they do a combination of mowing, hand cutting, and they do spraying for the vegetation management, but that's essentially vegetation management that's already occurring. So since we're actually proposing only a 6x6 foot gravel pad within the wetland area, they might actually have to come through more frequently just for this location. Again, it's only an 18-foot tall structure, so most shrubby vegetation might get close to the overhead components of the structure. So they might kind of like hopscotch around the region to some locations like this one that we have in the wetlands. That's why we have larger footprints for the gravel pads for the upland ones, and we were able to work with the engineers to get them and the forestry department to agree to a smaller gravel pad within the wetland.
Okay, that answers my question. I am going to open it up to the board, but before I do, the phone number is 978-771-0819 if anybody is interested in participating. Okay, Mr. Ronan, any questions?
Mr. Chairman, we do have a caller. I don't know if you
We do.
caller first.
Okay, well, let's have the caller, and if the caller can introduce name and address for the record, please.
Sure, Mary Ann DeVito, 1455 Shawshene Street, and
Lindsay Goldman Dunham, 51 Brianna Lee Circle.
Okay.
Mhm.
The floor is yours.
okay, so we have quite a few questions here. So this is a little overwhelming for us at this point. National Grid has been out here a few times and have tried to do a few things before. I've had several issues with National Grid as far as the current coming back up through the ground. A few years back, they had to hire the lines. They did a mass project and hired all the lines because we were literally getting feedback to our bodies. So they hired the lines. So now, what is the purpose of this? To add more to this, that is my backyard.
Our backyard.
Our backyard.
Yeah.
Our children play out in these yards. And they're going to drop to what we're looking at on TV here. It's a little hard to see. But it looks like quite the unit going out here. We have natural gas pipelines under there. We have wetlands here. And the concern is really the safety of our children. What is the purpose of adding all of this? I mean, these pieces that they're talking about putting down, these 6 by whatever pads here, I mean, these are a very big units.
Ms. Sullivan, can you answer their question?
Yes. So the purposes of essentially there's a switch installation project across multiple towns associated with this entire line. It goes from Tewksbury down to Wakefield, Massachusetts. Essentially, the electric design standards require the installation of switch structures on either side of each substation within the electrical transmission line system. So the purpose of the switches is to allow New England Power Company to turn off the electrical wires while they perform maintenance and emergency repair activities. So currently, there aren't any switches all the way from Tewksbury down to Wakefield, except for 2 on one of the 2 lines in Andover. So for the electrical design criteria, there has to be 1 for each line on either side of the substation. So during the early design period for this project, NEP looked for the locations that would be feasible to construct while also meeting with the design criteria. So looked at a few structures further to the north, and they weren't feasible in terms of construction. The next one to the north wasn't accessible because of the railroad. Further to the north, there was one located within uplands. However, due to the small space between like a parking lot and an existing public road, there wasn't enough room to fit the switch structure next to the adjacent structure. Part of that design criteria is also that the switch structure has to be installed 50 feet away from the existing structure. So that further limits the configurations that are possible. Now heading south from the substation right here, the design, they couldn't install anything in this location, this location, if you can see my cursor, because there's too dense of a configuration of tap structures into the substation. The next set of structures right here were not feasible because of load distribution wires along the substation driveway, as well as along Shawshene Street. So the next location that was available is over here. So another component of the design is that they can't have the switch structures too far away from the substation. So in an emergency repair situation, they do need to be able to turn off the electrical grid during that emergency situation for safety reasons and to reduce the number of customers that are out of service during those emergency repairs and maintenance activities. So the further away the structure is from the substation, the more time people have to wait for those repairs to take place. It also makes it challenging for or impossible for the engineers to identify what location may have been damaged in an emergency repair situation because it's harder to isolate that location. So long-winded answer. Are there any other questions? Or
I feel like you can't hear us. Can you hear us?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, because we couldn't see your cursor, we couldn't see where you were going there. So they're adding an access road over here, right beside your house.
Right beside my house.
So they're adding an access road there. So this is the only location, is what you're telling us, is this has to land on our property. This is crazy. Where do we draw the line? We've had so many issues with the power company to our bodies, I mean, physically, with these lines that are here. Where does the line draw that we have any say to anything on these projects? It's like I feel like our hands are tied. They continue to do and add what they want. Meanwhile, like I said, so now we have natural gas pipelines back here. You're going to add other stations here, and our kids play in these yachts. I mean, it is still my property, even though it's an easement to the power company. So it's frustrating. First of all, the letter says that we were to report to Town Hall lower level tonight. I just want to let you know this registered letter. So we did go to Town Hall lower level tonight. And I'll sorry. And now we're watching this diagram on television. That's where you're placing things, and you're giving us the dimensions of them. I mean, where do we go? Where do we have a say in this, or don't we?
I am going to suggest that to Miss Sullivan, is there somebody they can call? I mean, the safety of their children, the safety of themselves. Is there somebody from National Grid who can contact these residents to say this is what the issue is, or listen to their issues? Because this is actually getting out of the purview of the Conservation Commission. They have the easement. They need to build the structures to shut the power on and off. Now, these are not transmission lines, correct? These are just on-off switches.
Yes, essentially, these structures just have to be installed within 15 feet of an existing structure, so it's not adding any additional electricity or anything like that. It's essentially an 18-foot tall structure, and then components connect overhead to the existing structure, and on one of the two poles, there's a hand-operated switch, so that during those emergency or maintenance repair activities, they can come out and just close the switch and turn off the power so that they can operate without live wires.
So these new big poles they put out here aren't enough. 18 feet, and that's insane. I just don't like the ground pad. I don't like, and there is wetlands back there. I mean, we have a lot of wildlife here. It's, I don't know. So I would like somebody to contact us if this is at all possible.
I would suggest that Ms. Sullivan or yourself get in touch with whomever they can contact through National Grid or the electric company to solve their issues. Again, this is getting out of the purview of what we are.
Directly with Ms. Sullivan, because to really get anybody else as a consumer, or even it's very difficult getting through to the correct person there. So if she could be our lead, that would be great. I know it's out of your area here, but there are a lot of issues here. There's enough stuff out here now. So,
okay, so what I'm going to suggest,
I get it, but there is a lot of wetlands back there.
Could you email Stefania or call Stefania with your phone numbers, email addresses, so she can relay it to Ms. Sullivan, so somebody from National Grid can get in contact with you? I don't think it's going to be Ms. Sullivan. I think it's going to be some type of public relations person.
Yes, we have an outreach team. I can pass the contact information to.
Yeah, so if you can get your information to Stefania, she can get it to Ms. Sullivan, so that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be great, because they're just going to go forth with this, and it's not going to matter how we feel or know anything.
Again, this is out of the purview of the neighborhood. We're here just for the conservation issue, and they already have the easement. And like I said, they're on and off switch. So again, my suggestion would be Hello?
Yep, go ahead. So
Okay.
How do we get Stefania's contact information?
She's at town hall and
You
Stefania.
can find it on the town website, on the
Right.
Conservation Commission page. You can also probably find Miss Sullivan's email on the application, which is posted on the Conservation Commission's webpage.
Okay, what's Stefania's last name?
Gallo?
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Anybody else from the public want to speak? Before I open it up to board members?
no, thank you.
All right. Thank you for your input.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Mr. Ronan, any questions?
So kind of commenting on the resident concerns, I'm looking at I don't know what sheet it is, but it's the front elevation, and it kind of shows a side view of what the structure is going to look like. Just to give an idea of how tall this thing is.
The so here I'm gonna share it. Yeah, so the depiction that I happen to have available, I didn't have the PDF up, but this is the profile view of the switch structure. It's only 18 feet tall. I don't know the height of the existing structures, but they're much taller than 18 feet tall. Here you can see the foundations. Here we have the grounding grid area where there would be the 6x6 gravel pad. Here's a top-down view. You can see the 6x6 foot area where the grounding grid is again, where we'd have the gravel pad and wetland.
And so again, this is not really purview of the commission, but detail E, that's where the actual hand switch is, correct?
Yes. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this very clearly, but you can see the switch handle right here. And they're hand operated.
I'm assuming there's something that prevents anybody just from going up and,
They have locks on them.
All right.
Yeah. Nobody will be able to operate it unless they have the proper equipment to do so.
And they're pretty wide, the foundations and the pillars, like, a child could not climb up there or anything.
No, they shouldn't be able to.
All right. I just wanted to make sure for the, a little bit more reassurance for the residents and stuff. But that's my only question. Thank you.
Mr. McMullen. Oh.
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Sheehan.
No, I'm good.
Mr. Walsh.
No questions.
And I have the only I really wish that the electric company would reach out to these people. I know that it's not the purview of the Conservation Commission I don't want these people to be getting electrocuted, put it that way. So I have no other questions other than insist that the electric company reach out to the people who had just called. Unfortunately, I forget the name. But you also received a order of conditions for Stefani. Do you have any issues with that?
We provided some minor modifications to the language, just to, when you take some of the language out of the context of because it was taken directly from the notice of intent. So when you take some of the language out of the context of the whole, I just wanted to make sure some of the language was a little bit more clear when taken in isolation.
Okay. So what language did you take out? Do you have?
The changes that she made is what I sent to the commission.
Oh, okay.
So I accepted all the changes that you made to the document.
All right. So I have no issues with that because I don't want to read the entire thing. And this is in the public documents, correct, Stefania?
Yes, this will be in the
Okay.
public record.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve the notice of intent, Andrew Cole, New England Power Company. Actually, Stefan, you do have any issues before I move on, but you just turned around and sent me all this, the order of condition. So do you have any concerns?
No, so I met the National Grid and Marley on site the other day, and I went through all my concerns and my questions with them, and we kind of talked about my biggest concern, which was the replication area, and they just described to me exactly what they described to you, that there's no other place to put it but in the location that they chose. So everything has been addressed.
Okay. All right. With that being said, I'll entertain a motion to approve the notice of intent for Andrew Cole, New England Power Company, NEP, S145 T146 transmission line row, map lot 3437, 10241, 10258, 1121, 1124, DEP number 305, 1128 with the standard order of conditions, and also including the conditions that Stefania has published dated February 5th, 2021. Did all the board members have a chance to read those conditions?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So,
Can I have a second?
Second.
And Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Again, I want to reiterate the communication between the residents that called in tonight and the electric company. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next. All right, I seem to misplace my agenda here. All right, next on the agenda is request certificate of client, Andrew Stack, Town of Tewksbury, DPW 31 Shawshene Street, map 56, lot 147, DEP 3051009. Is anybody here for that? Of course there isn't, so I can keep talking, I guess. Stefania, what do we got here?
Andrew Stack is here.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if let me see if I can chat. While we wait for
Oh, here he comes.
okay.
Is he on mute?
I don't know.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
Andrew, can you unmute yourself?
Hello?
Hi.
Oh, there you go. Yep, now we can.
Okay, yeah.
All right, introduce yourself for the record, and the floor is yours.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commission members. I'm Andrew Stack with the DPW Engineering Division, and I'm here to request a certificate of compliance for the culvert replacement project near 31 Shawshene Street. The project's located on Shawshene Street in the right-of-way near house number 31, which is by the Borica Town Line and Shawshene, also near Sullivan Parkway. The original culvert was an 18-inch diameter corrugated metal culvert, which conveyed flows from this intermittent stream here beneath Shawshene Street. And this upstream head wall failed, and the side slope of the culvert failed in November of 2014, and emergency repairs were made at that time. The project I'm requesting a certificate of compliance for is for the permanent replacement of the culvert. The 18-inch diameter corrugated metal pipe was replaced with an 18-inch diameter reinforced concrete pipe culvert. New precast concrete head walls were installed on both the upstream and downstream side of the culvert. And this 12-inch corrugated drain pipe was replaced with a reinforced concrete drain pipe. Couple changes involved replacing the there was originally a jersey barricade on the side here. We replaced that with a more standard steel beam guardrail, and they were originally proposing to have concrete bollards here, which we also replaced with steel beam guardrail. That's pretty much the project. If you have any questions.
Board members, any questions?
No, it looks good to me.
Okay. Now this culvert, is this got running water going through it all the time?
It's an intermittent stream.
Okay, so there's no chance for beavers to block it?
No.
Okay. Those guys are always the devils. They're out there, yeah. And I just want the DPW to have to go down and keep cleaning it out. And if it was a stream that was consistent, you know, they'd be cleaning it out every other day like they do on Beach Street. Okay, I have no further questions. Stefania, any issues?
I don't have any issues.
Okay, and board members had nothing. This is not a public hearing. This is a request for certificate of compliance. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the request for certificate of compliance. Andrew Stack, Town of Tewksbury, DPW, 31 Shawsheen Street, map 56, lot 127, DEP 3051009. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
My chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we're on to item K. Public hearing, request for determination, applicability, John P. Devlin, 241 Pringle Street, map 106, lot 59. Again, this is a public hearing. Anybody interested in participating, the number is 978-771-0819. Okay, with that being said, is there anyone here for that?
Mr. Chairman, for the record, my name is Steve Spatinsky from Merrimack Engineering.
Okay. The floor is yours, sir.
Mr. Devlin is proposing to construct an addition to his house. It's approximately 24 by 25 in the rear of the house. The addition, part of it, or a quarter of it, 25% of it is really a deck. The rest of it, 3/4 of it is building. The addition is directly behind his existing house. It's located in the 100-foot buffer zone. There are actually 2 wetland series that run on the lot. From the closest wetland border, the addition is 71.9 feet. And from the second wetland series, the closest part is 98.11 feet. The house is on sewer, it's on water, town water. None of the utilities are going to be impacted by the addition. We do show on the plan erosion control located roughly about 10 feet from where he's proposing to build, which is enough room for machines and men to get around. We show a temporary stockpile area outside the 100-foot zone, setback zone. So the addition is very close to the 100-foot zone. A portion of it is actually out of it. So because we're 71.9 feet at the closest point, we're providing erosion control, and there's really no grading to speak of because of the way the design is of the building. You walk out onto the grade, so there's almost no earthwork disruption except for preparation for the foundation. So we'd ask that the commission approve the plan with request for determination of applicability, with the stipulation that we provide the erosion control and the stockpile areas shown on the plan.
Okay, Stefania, any issues?
I will just note I wasn't able to do a site inspection. I've been home this week. But with all the snow, we wouldn't have been able to verify any wetland lines anyways. I do have one question. The leaching trenches, is there any problem with that being so close to the proposed deck?
Okay, those actually have been abandoned. If you take a look at, I showed them because the contractor may end up encountering them, but if you look at note 4, it says that's the record location and that they are abandoned. The tank was actually crushed. So the tank is no longer, it's been crushed and filled. But the leaching trenches are there. They've been disconnected. They've been abandoned. The town water and sewer, I've showed where the connections are on the plan in the front of the house. Front and side. I just didn't want to draw a plan and have an excavation guy go out there and look at the old trenches from years ago, and then he says, "Oh, what's this?" So anyway.
Okay, before I open it to board members, I will read the phone number again. It's 978-771-0819. If anybody would like to participate, Brian, let me know if anybody calls. I'll interrupt any of the board members. Board members, Mr. Ronan, any issues?
He's on mute.
No issues.
Okay, Mr. McMullen.
Got one comment related to erosion controls. Looks like your erosion controls follow along the eastern side of the proposed addition and then continue south. Just want to know how the project would feel about extending the erosion controls across the south end of the existing dwelling.
Okay, so it might be hard to see on the plan, but there's actually like a retaining wall with stairs there. So
Yep.
we brought the erosion control right sort of to the end of the wall. I know it steps down. But I guess if anything, what we would do is if we extended it, we would extend it over to, let's say, the corner of the building, so to speak. That would make the most sense because there is a small wall down from there.
Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Mr. Sheehan, any questions?
I'm good.
Mr. Walsh?
I'm good.
And I have no questions. So it's a request for determination applicability. So we're going to need this is a public. Anybody call in?
We have no callers, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Now, I'll entertain a motion for a negative determination for the application of applicability for John P. Devlin, 241 Pringle Street, map 106, lot 59. I have a motion to that effect.
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.
Okay. That's all that stuff. Okay. Okay. Public hearing. Request for amended order of condition. Sea of Fried Properties, 495 Woburn Street, map 1, lot 1, DEP number 3051112. Is there anyone here for that?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Connor Nagel with VHB, representing the applicant.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'll just share my screen here, if I may. So just to orient you to the property there, you're probably familiar with the project we permitted in the last year, the proposed Home Depot that's going in on the old Raytheon site. What we're looking at with the plan we submitted for the amendment is this little parcel here on the northeast corner of the site. Was outside the development footprint. But what the applicant is proposing now is to tear down the two metal buildings that are on that site, remove the impervious cover, take out some good material from under the pavement, and then replace that with a stockpile of excess material from the development parcel. So moving over to the plan here that we submitted, the proposal is to take all that impervious surface, almost an acre of impervious surface, that is up to the 50-foot buffer line. No work proposed within 50 feet. Remove those two buildings that I've outlined in orange there, and stockpile material. The plan we submitted is sort of a worst case scenario of what they might have for excess topsoil. I think the reality from numbers we've gotten from the contractor in the interim suggests that that stockpile would probably be only half that size. That is the extent of the proposal, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Stefan, you any issues?
No issues, just two questions. So the fill comes from the site right now, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and it will be, I'm assuming, clean fill that will be stored there?
Yes, yep.
Okay, all right. My other question is just related to stabilization. So can you just talk a little bit about how they plan to stabilize the slopes at the beginning and then for the future?
Yep, the proposal would be to mound the stockpile at 3-to-1 slope so that it is stable. It would be compacted in lifts as with any stockpile, and loamed and seeded as soon as it's placed. We are proposing erosion controls around the toe of slope, and as they're working there, they'll certainly take any typical additional measures that are necessary as storms approach before the seeding has had a chance to grow in.
Okay, that's all I had.
Okay, Mr. Ronan, any questions?
Yes, I'm a little confused about what the purpose of this is. It's excess loam. Is it ever going to be removed? And is it loam that like Home Depot is ordering too much of it, or is it is it ever going to be removed, or is it just going to be a permanent hill right there?
As contemplated right now, it would be a permanent placement here. There is no proposed use on this area of the site. So this is an opportunity to remove some impervious pavement, not pay to export the soil as this parcel is available here.
All right, thank you.
Mr. McMullen, any questions?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Sheehan,
I'm good.
Mr. Walsh,
No questions.
and I have no questions. I don't have a problem with this. This is a public hearing, so the phone number is 978-771-0819. Is there anybody on the line, Brian?
We have no callers, Mr. Chairman.
And I don't believe we will have any callers. So we'll give it a few seconds to catch up and then okay. All right. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing request for amended order of conditions, Seafried Properties, 495 Woburn Street, Map 1, Lot 1, DEP 3051112. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
I'll second that, and I will vote aye.
Okay. Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Now, on the motion, I'll entertain a motion to approve the request for the amended order of conditions, Seafried Properties, 495 Woburn Street, Map 1, Lot 1, DEP 3051112. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Good
Okay.
night.
Before we go any further, we need to revoke because we didn't close the public hearing for Andrew Cole nor Gary Hodges. So I would like to do that so we can formally make sure that everything's on the up and up. So back to item G is a public hearing notice of intent, Gary Hodges, Gary U. Hodges, Revocable Trust, 313 Marston Street, map 20, lot 29, DEP number 3051127. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And Mr. Walsh?
Aye.
Okay. Now we're going to entertain a motion to approve the notice of intent for Gary Hodges, Gary U. Hodges Revocable Trust, 313 Marston Street, map 20, lot 29, DEP number 3051127. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Can we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Now, I'm going to entertain a motion for item I, public hearing, notice of intent, Andrew Cole, New England Power Company, NEP, S145, T146, Transmission Line Row, map 34, 102, 41, 102, 58, 1121, 1124, DEP number 3051128. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye. Chair
votes aye as well. On the notice of intent, I'll entertain a motion to approve the notice of intent for Andrew Cole, New England Power Company, NEP, S145, 146, Transmission Line Row, map, lot 3437, 10241, 10258, 1121, 1124, DEP 3051128. Can I have a motion to approve the notice of intent?
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
And chair votes aye as well. And I think that covers it all. Stefania, did I miss anything? Are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't.
It looks like you're
so.
falling asleep here.
I am falling asleep.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, so we closed the public hearing. We approved the ones we already approved. Okay, any old business? Hearing none. Any new business?
No new
Okay.
business.
The only thing I have under new business, it's really not new business, but I'd like to, on behalf of the board, extend our condolences to the Zarula family for the loss of Charles this past month. And again, I'd like to wish them our condolences. Okay, administrator reports.
I don't have anything.
Okay, and I have nothing. Anybody else?
Nope.
Oh, it's almost last call here. Okay. I'm exhausted here now after reading all this stuff. All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Good night, Tewksbury.
Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.